Hello, my name is Jamie and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Unlike any other YouTube channel that showcases Pokemon Go PvP content, mine exclusively showcases Shadow Pokemon. So, if you're into that type of content, I'd appreciate if you could like and subscribe.
So, let's get into today's video. In today's video, we will be looking at a triple non-XL team. If any of you are on Twitter, you'll obviously see there's a lot of debating about, do you need XLs to win? I've seen a lot of fellow content creators attempt to make non-XL teams and say how difficult it is to compete. With that in mind, not only am I going to run a triple non-XL team, it's going to be triple Shadow. And all three of these Pokemon are nowhere near even level 40, let alone level 50. They're all around level 30 to 32. So let's get into the team. This is not a team that I come up with, so I'm not going to take credit for it. It is a team that I saw showcased by the one and only Oxfordu on his channel last season. I'm going to put a link to that video in the description down below. So the team's going to be an Articuno lead, running Ice Shard, Icy Wind and Ancient Power. Going to have Shadow Swampert as the closer, running Mud Shot, Hydro Cannon and Earthquake. And it's going to have the very cool looking Shadow Suicune running Snarl, Hydro Pump and Ice Beam. No Bubble Beam because that move, let's be honest, is garbage. So without any further ado, let's get into the battles. I will be leading Shadow Articuno for the duration of this video. And let me tell you, I powered up both these legendaries today and I've got no idea what I'm doing with them, so just bear with any misplays. In game 1, we pick up a lead against a Poliwrath. We did showcase this yesterday and I think it probably beats our entire team. So I'm going to no-shield this move, hoping they bait us. They go for a Dynamic Punch, which does around half our health. I build up and fake the Hurricane. I'm really hoping that I can get a shield advantage, as this thing does beat our whole team. However, with shields and debuffing them, I know we've got a good chance. I shield up the next move, hoping to call a Dynamic Punch. They actually bait us, so that's not great for us. I now go for the second Icy Wind. This is going to debuff them once again. We actually draw a second shield, so I'm unsure if the opponent was miscounting or they've just realised that I'm super weak to this thing. Dynamic Punch comes through, we've still got a nice bit of health. They're not going to be able to mud shot us down, so they have to throw their energy again. This is fine for us. We've got the Poliwrath down to around 60% health and we've got shield advantage. I can now bring our Swampert in. I'm now looking to load up on energy. They've got enough for the Dynamic Punch. I imagine it is going to be that, as a double debuffed Ice Punch would do almost nothing. You can see the double debuffed Dynamic Punch didn't do a lot, so I build up to close to 100 energy and I fire off this Earthquake. Earthquake takes out the Poly and they now have an Umbreon. So I'm going to look to fire off this Hydro Cannon. I'm going to look to catch the Foul Play onto the big bulky Suicunes. I let one more Snarl and we actually don't catch. The opponent stays in, but they throw their energy anyway. I've never used Suicune. Like I said, I just powered it up today and it looks like it's still got reasonable bulk even as a Shadow. The regular is really bulky. Second Foul Play comes through. The Umbreon is still staying in. I'm going to go straight for this Hydro Pump, as I know the opponent only has one shield, so I don't think they're going to want a shield. Hydro Pump does huge damage. It looks like I can survive another Foul Play. We've got a few health. I'm hoping that I reach the Ice Beam. And just as we reach it, we get snarled down. So a bit of a misplay on my part, which isn't great. However, I know this Umbreon is just reaching the move, so I can shield this up. I'm going to look to overfarm. And just as they're about to reach their next Foul Play, as they are on a free cycle, this Hydro Cannon is going to take them out. And in the back, they've got a Talonflame. So I fire off this Hydro Cannon in the middle of that Incinerate. So just as they're about to reach the move, I fire off the back-to-back and we clutch out game 1. As you can tell, a couple of misplays. I really ain't too familiar with the team, but the team comp is fantastic. We managed to clutch out a win in game 1. Let's see if we can get some more momentum going into game 2 of the video. Let's hope we get a slightly better lead as well. So in game 2, we lead our Articuno into a Bomber Snow. Once again, this thing is pretty dreadful for our backline, as it would have no problem beating both Suicune and Swampert. The opponent switches out into a Mach, so I look to debuff it and I look to try and load up on energy with Swampert. I build up again, I look to catch the move. I'm really hoping that I catch an acid spray, which we do successfully, which is great for us. I now look to over farm, and just as I believe they get into their next move, I fire off this hydro cannon. I'm not expecting to get a shield, but the opponent does shield. The fact they've shielded obviously means they're going to go for a dark pulse, but I know Swampert will survive. We are quite low, but I know these fast moves are hardly doing anything, so once again, I look to try and CMP tie him, but I actually miscount. This is only going to be an acid spray, which we survive, and now the Mock's going to have to go down 2 shields to win switch. They don't go down, they don't win switch, so we managed to maintain alignment and we're up a shield. We had hardly any HP on the Swampert, which is fantastic. So there was nothing for the Abomasnow to farm, and they actually let us get off this Icy Wind before they even throw, which is great, as we now have actually debuffed this Abomasnow. As I only powered up the Articuno this morning, I'm unsure how much these weather balls do. Even debuff, it does do quite a big chunk. So I'm going to have to start shielding. I shield this next one up, and I'm going to look to try and outpace him to this next Icy Wind. They're 1 powder so short of reaching the move as we hit the Icy Wind. Let's see if the opponent wants to give up their last shield. They do not. And in the back, there is a Clefairy. I'm desperately trying to get to the Icy Wind to try and debuff this Charmer. However, we get taken out just as we're reaching it, which isn't great. Once again, unfamiliar with these Pokemon. I should have switched out immediately. However, I know that you can see that we're still in the blue as we reach a Hydro Pump. So this is going to be a GG's. They can shield this up and the second Hydro Pump will take them out. The opponent actually calls the bait and we manage to snarl down. So once again, Shadow Suicune coming in clutch. Off to a 2-0 start. A bit shaky, trying to get to terms with some of these new Pokemon, but we are getting the dubs. Moving on into game 3 of the video. We pick up a lead against an Umbreon. I imagine this is winnable if I wish to commit a shield early, because obviously this move would do the most before I start debuffing. However, that's not something I'm prepared to do. It's not really my playstyle to go down shields. So I'm going to debuff them and look to switch out. We let a Snarl through, which isn't great. However, I look to catch the move on Suicune, which we do successfully. So this debuff foul play should hardly do anything. A little chip damage. And the opponent brings in a Granbull. We let a Charm through, which is going to really cost us, as if we wouldn't have let that through, we would be able to get to 2 Ice Beams. The opponent lets it go through, and I think we're just going to fall. Just as we get to the next Ice Beam, we are taken out. So at this stage, I'm going to have to come in with Articuno. We don't get the Ice Shard through. I'm going to shield this move up. Opponent goes for a close combat. And look how much these charms are doing to Articuno. I am quickly realising in this video that Shadow Articuno has absolutely no bulk. In comes a Talonflame. I am going to fire off this Ancient Power as it is double super effective. We grab a shield, which is great for us. Now we're going to see if Swampert can close. So I'm going to shield this up in case it's the Brave Bird, which it is. And then back in comes the Umbreon. So we're not out the water just yet. There's still quite a lot of work to be done here. Let's see what Shadow Swampert can do. First move gets the Umbreon deep into the red. Foul play comes through. We're now at a sort of health where we don't really want to, we can't afford to take another one. So we once again fire off his Hydro Cannon. Let's see if the opponent should let it go. The opponent does shield and we win CMP. And this here is good enough to take out the Umbreon. So now we've got our Swampert very low on health. We're going to outpace him to this Hydro Cannon, which we do here. Unfortunately, even Shadow Swampert cannot one-shot Talonflame. Gets him super low. And as soon as our switch timer comes up, the Ice Shard registers before the Incinerate, and we take game 3. The opponent there was the one who made the misplay. They should have let that Umbreon go down. However, we're going to take that, and we're off to a 3-0 start. Moving on into game 4 of the video. Our Shadow Articuno leads into a Swampert. This is a matchup that I've played as a Swampert. I've never played it as the Articuno, but we managed to get the Ice Shard through. I do know that we will win this in even shielding scenarios. We don't have to shield the first one. Even the squishy Shadow, it does less than half health. We now go straight for this Icy Wind. All I'm going to do in this match is I'm going to match shields with the opponent. Second charge move coming through. It's going to leave us quite low, but we're not going to get mud shot down. And then it's down to the opponent. Let's see if they want to shield up this next Icy Wind. Icy Wind comes through. And the opponent no shield. So they win out the 0 shield, which is great for us. And they bring in Empoleon. Our backline doesn't really have a great matchup here. We're going to bring Swampert in. However, these Hydro Cannons are really going to chunk us. So we're going to shield this first one up. And we're going to look to build up towards the Earthquake. Opponent switches into a Gyarados, so I bank a Hydro Cannon and I switch out. Suicune, Gyarados. This would be a good matchup in even shields. However, we are down a shield. Crunch comes through. Does quite a lot of damage. The lack of bulk in the shadow really shows here, as normally Suicune would tank that no problem. Ice Beam gets the shield. I was hoping the opponent was going to no shield, expecting us to try and Bubble Beam bait us. Obviously we're not running it. And I now shield an Aqua Tail, which is absolutely dreadful, as that would have done hardly anything. However, I now get to this next Ice Beam. We're now in shields down, so it's going to be a race. The opponent actually switches out, so I bank the Ice Beam and I switch into Swampert. This is where our win con could appear. Swampert outpaces Empoleon to the Earthquake. That one-shots Empoleon. And I now come back in with the Gyarados, the opponent. So let's see if we can tank this move, which we can. Hydro Cannon is going to get the Gyarados low. And the win con is that we got that Ice Beam loaded. So a couple of Dragon Breaths takes us out. And the low elf Gyarados is going to eat an Ice Beam. And that right there is a good game. It looked like the game was over for us, but we come back. GG's to that opponent. Suicune once again coming in clutch. So we are 4-0 in the set. Can we go a perfect 5-0 with a team we just put together and just powered up? Let's see what happens in game 5 of the video. We pick up an absolutely dreadful lead against Talonflames. We put one Ice Shard and we switch out. We transfer the Incinerate damage onto Suicune. And we're now matched up with an Umbreon. Let's see if this Umbreon is going to shield this first move. I didn't expect this to go straight for the Hydro Pump. You can see it does around 45% damage, which is massive, as Umbreon is an absolute tank. We manage to sneak a Snarl through, which is great. We get another Snarl through. So we now have the potential to either flip switch or gain shield advantage. To be honest, I really would prefer shield advantage, as I know Swampert up shields can clutch this game out. As if they had a grass type, they would have switched it into Suicune. So we managed to gain a shield with that Ice Beam. I'm now hoping the Hydro Pump manages to take them out. It doesn't. However, it is a CMP tie. So this Umbreon was loaded on energy. They didn't expect to snarl us down, so they actually throw, which is great for us. They're one fast move away from their next move, so the Ice Shard takes them out. And now it's Swampert time. So Swampert comes in. As we're up shields, I'm going to go straight for this Earthquake, as I very, very highly doubt the opponent is going to shield. This is why I always say pros don't bait. The win con for the opponent was me baiting and them calling it. However, I know this and I go straight for the EQ. I'm going to shield this up. I know it's going to be a flame charge, but this game is over. This first Hydro Cannon is going to get the shield, which it does. I'm now going to shield this next move up once again. It's going to be a flame charge. However, they're now dry on energy. So I overfarm just a touch to get a bit more mud shot damage. I hope this Hydro Cannon now is good enough to KO. If it isn't, I'm going to instantly swap into Articuno to Ice Shard down. However, from a really, really tough lead, we managed to go 5-0. You can see in them last two battles, as I start to get the hang of the team does function absolutely superbly. A couple of misplays early on in the video. However, that's obviously due to inexperience and using new mom. But I think this video has really showcased that you really don't need XLs to compete. As you can see there, the last team had XL Umbreon, XL Talonflame, and we dispatched to that absolutely no problems at all, including a lost lead. So you can see there on screen, we are one set away from getting our ELO. Our win rate's around 67%. So hopefully we start probably around the 2150 mark. And that climb to reach Legend once again, only using Shadow Pokemon, commences. So if you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. If you enjoy the type of content, leave a like. I'd just like to say thanks for the support. I really appreciate it as the channel starts to grow. If you've got any suggestions on shadows you'd like to see, post in the comment section down below, and I'll see you all in the next one.